Welcome back to Female Voices. I'm Teresa Reiniger, and Miss Wayna Berry is with us today as well as my co-host. As always, this is a space where we honor real stories. We hold space for grief and all its forms and explore what it means to keep living softly, honestly, and at our own time. So today's conversation I'm super excited about. It's going to be a little different and incredibly special. Our guest is someone who has been part of this podcast and our work for quite some time, quietly behind the scenes.
She's a talented graphic designer with nearly 4 years of experience supporting entrepreneurs and businesswomen across the U.S. She creates social media graphic, edits video content, and supports email campaigns. And many of you have experienced her work without even realizing it. She was introduced to this space by Brittany Abernathy and now serves as the social media and podcast manager for Female Voices Life and Loss, Living After Grief, and Outberry Coaching.
What makes her present here today is so meaningful is not just what she does, but what she has witnessed. Through editing each episode, she has deeply listened to countless stories of grief, resilience, and healing. And in doing so, those stories have quietly changed her, how she sees life, how she understands people, and how she relates to grief itself. So today, she's stepping out from behind the scenes and into her own voice, and she's going to share with us. We're going to explore what it means to listen deeply, what grief has taught her through the stories of others, and how even being a witness to loss can shape who we become. I am so honored to welcome Donna to our podcast conversation today. So welcome, Donna.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm honestly a bit scared because it's new for me, but I really want to overcome that fear. And I'm grateful for the chance to share my thoughts and what I've learned working with you. And I'm just really
Awesome.
happy to be here.
We're so happy.
Yeah. You spend so much time behind the scenes listening to stories and what it's like for you. What is it like for you the first time to realize this is impacting me too?
Yeah. I remember that episode that I've edited. It's episode 43, the unseen grief of infertility with Hannah Mueller. I don't know if I say her surname correctly, but
Uh-huh.
as I was listening to that episode, something in me just connected deeply because I also have PCOS and I know what it feels like to have a hard time conceiving. So it didn't just feel like I was editing someone else's story. It felt personal. And it made me see that I was carrying my own kind of grief even if I didn't fully recognize it before. But at the same time I also felt sense of peace because even though I don't have my own children yet, I get to take care of my niece and my nephew. And in many ways, it that makes me feel like a mother too, and I'm very happy with that. So that experience that's just opened my eyes to my own grief.
Yeah, I love that.
So before working in this space, what was your understanding of grief? And how has that shifted over time?
Before I thought grief is only meant for losing someone through death. That was my only understanding of it. But over time, that really changed. As I'm working with you, I learned that grief is about loss in general, not just death. And you can grieve relationship over missed opportunities of a job, a dream, an identity. And sometimes those kinds of grief are even harder because they are not always seen and recognized. So now I see grief much bigger, and it's almost part of everyone that um we are carrying them without even knowing it.
Yeah, she sounds just like us, doesn't she?
Yeah,
She
I've learned
sounds
so
just
much
like us.
from
She's learned so much. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, um,
For the guest, oh my goodness, see if you listen to the episodes, what all you're gonna learn.
That's what I've get by editing all your video
Yeah,
clips. Yeah, I've learned a lot.
aw, that's
I
so
love
sweet. Thank
it.
you
It's
so
warming,
much.
like, yeah.
So, Donna, you've listened to so many women share deeply personal experiences. What surprised you the most about grief?
What surprised me the most is how quiet grief can be. Not everyone cries or shows it openly. Some people continue their daily lives, smiling, working, showing up, but inside they're carrying something heavy. And now I how different it looks for everyone. There's no pattern that made me realize that we should be more gentle with people because we never really know what they're carrying or what someone
Mm.
is going through.
Yeah, yeah, for
From
sure.
your perspective, what does real grief look like? What makes someone feel truly hurt?
For me, real listening means being fully present without trying to fix or judge. Before, when I listen someone's story about grief, I just gave advice right away. But
Mm.
now I learned that I have to listen first. I have to let them feel safe and don't interrupt them while they're sharing their story. Just be there. Just let them know that you are there for them, listening, and so they can be feel seen and understood.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
We're
yeah. So you just talked about one episode with infertility with Anna, and was there another time when you were editing an episode where you had to really pause because something really stayed with you or stuck, or there was a light bulb moment, something really resonated with you? Any
Ye-
particular episode that you remember?
Yes, there is an episode that really touched my heart, and I just realized another grief that I am carrying that I didn't know.
Mm.
It's episode, I think it's episode 65,
Mm.
grieving the life you thought you'd have, with Mom Wayna.
Mm.
Yes, that episode made me realize that I am still grieving. I'm still grieving for my father who died years ago. I thought I was fully healed, but there are so many what ifs that comes to my mind every time. So I realized that I'm still grieving. While editing and watching that episode, I get teary eyed, not just because the story is sad, but because I can feel the emotions. And yeah, that's made me realize that I am still grieving for him.
And we'll have to do another episode where you talk more about your father and your grief so
Yes.
that can support the listeners as well because of just what you've learned there. And yeah, dig into that like what if, because I think that's reality. So we'll want to hear more about that. And with Father's Day
Yes.
coming up in just a couple months, we'll plan on that, okay?
Yes.
So, really, just listening, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's listened to every story, every episode. So it's super exciting to me. But what patterns have you noticed about how women, all the ones that you've listened to, what kind of patterns are you seeing or have you noticed on how women process grief? Have you seen any patterns?
One thing that I notice is that women carry their grief quietly while still taking care of others because mostly they're
Mm,
mothers. They show strength on the outside, but inside they're still processing a lot. I also
mm,
noticed that when women feel safe to share their stories, something happened, like healing begins. There's a relief and connection. So even though every story is different, there's a common thread, wanting to be understood and feel heard and not feel alone. So
yeah.
it's like their coping mechanism to share their stories to like start their healing.
Yeah, I agree. Because you've heard that, and when we talk about that, it's really women do grieve, I would say, for the most part, differently, but very similar, but different. So it's all
Yes.
of that. But women, it's super important for them to feel seen and heard and to share their stories. They're just And going back 6 years ago, that was one of the things that I first realized when doing the podcast is when women can share their story, there's so much healing that comes from that. And so that's why the podcast continues from what you just said. It's super important for women to share their stories. And I'll go back to making sure that we're listening and allowing people to share their stories. So always holding back the advice and things that we want to give, and allowing them to share is super
Yeah.
important.
I had a powerful moment like that just recording with my mom. You know, my mom had held a lot of her own grief and trauma and things like that. And so those are exactly the words that she said. She says, you know, Lorena, you put the things that online and social media and start talking about things that really, really hurt you, that gave me permission to share what hurt me. Like
Mm,
I never had that before.
yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
really, really powerful.
Yeah. Well, we definitely want to give all women permission,
Yes.
and if it's not, on the podcast, just in person, because just like Donna said at the beginning, she's pretty nervous about this. And I would say, for the most part, I'm going to say with the almost 6 years that I've been doing this, there has probably been 5 or 6 people that have done a podcast before coming on to do a podcast with me. And I would say, for the most part, you do not know that. You do not hear that in their voice. And I take pride, and with Wayna now, we take pride in allowing women to feel very comfortable in our conversations. And so I
Mhm.
hope you're getting that, Donna, that you're starting to feel a little more comfortable, not so nervous talking to us, even though
Yes.
you've talked to us for months and months and months. It's all good. This is safe. So
Uh,
so
so
what have you learned besides that would help someone feel supported versus what unintentionally causes more pain? Any thoughts on that?
One thing that I've learned, especially from searching and creating contents, educational
Mhm,
contents for your pages, is how important it is to know what to say and what not to say to someone who is grieving. I
mhm,
came across a lot of helpful tips, and one of the biggest lesson is that words are very powerful. They can either make someone feel supported, lighter, and or they can unintentionally cause more pain. I've learned that words that can help most is simple and sincere presence, like saying things like, I'm here for you or take your time can really
mhm,
comfort someone. But sometimes
mhm,
even well meaning words like be strong or everything happens for a reason can make some people feel more pain, or it can
mhm,
feel dismissive because it may sound like we are rushing their healing and not fully understanding their emotions and their
mhm,
pain. So I learned that it's not about saying the perfect thing. It's about being genuine, being kind, being careful with your words, and make sure the person is feels seen and heard. So yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
that's what I've
Awesome.
learned from.
So you've learned a lot. And so what I'll ask next is, how has that changed how you're showing up in relationships and conversations? Have you seen a shift in how you communicate now to
Yeah.
other people? Because sometimes
Actually,
we learn stuff, but we don't implement them.
yeah.
And I'm sure that you have, but so just curious about that.
Yeah. It made me more patient and more understanding, I say.
Mm-hmm.
Before, like I said earlier, if I heard some stories from someone grieving, I will give them advice right away that I will always say it's okay, they're in in better place. Everything happens for a reason, and I realized that it's not always good, always not right to say to them. But now I focus more on listening and understanding. I also became more gentle with people because I know everyone is dealing with something we may not
Mm-hmm.
see. And even in simple conversations, I try
Mm-hmm.
to be more present, not distracted, because that alone can make feel valued. So I'm always trying my best to just listen first without interrupting them.
Awesome.
And,
Yeah.
has listening to these stories shifted how you think about your own life, priorities, or future?
It has. It made me reflect on what truly matters, like relationship, time, emotions. I became more aware that life doesn't always go as planned, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So let's see. So stepping into your own voice, what has that journey been like for you internally?
Um, Honestly, it's been a
Mm.
journey. Like I've been working with you for 6 months, and I'm
Mhm.
always behind the scene.
Mhm.
And so stepping forward and sharing my thoughts feels like a little uncomfortable, and I'm very scared, very afraid I might mess up in front of the camera because it is my very first time to do this. But here I am sharing what I've learned and my thoughts that maybe, and I hope it might help and inspire someone. And if that happen, it will make me very proud of myself because I've got to do this. I've got to share my thoughts and what I've learned from you. I got the chance to share it with others also.
I
Full
love
circle
it.
moment.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. For sure.
So, how do you care for yourself while holding space for so many emotional stories? This is probably the biggest piece right here, you
Oh,
know?
yeah. We're asked this all the time. So, yeah.
I remind myself to pause when I need to. If something feels heavy, I don't ignore it. I take a break and give myself time to process. To I also try to separate work and the rest so I don't carry everything all the time. And most
Mm,
importantly, I allow myself to feel but not let it overwhelm me.
Good balance.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. What would you say to someone who feels unsure of what to say to a grieving person? And you've already said several things, but I want to kind of pull those all together here, very specific here, so the listeners. Sometimes we need to hear it over and over and just reiterated. So, what would be those things that you would feel you would want to share with those people that are unsure of what to say, really,
Yeah.
to those grieving? And
I
we
would
have,
say
yeah, no, go ahead.
you don't need perfect words.
Yeah.
You just be real and be kind. Even something simple like "I'm here for you" is enough. Don't feel
Mhm.
pressure to fix their pain. Just being there and listening already means so much to them.
Uh-huh.
And please be careful with our words too.
Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to ask, and this is not, we kind of prepared things ahead of time because Donna was a little nervous with all of this, with some questions and stuff. So now we're gonna test her a little bit, but these are gonna be easy. So if you would share with the audience, we said that you at the beginning that you've been working with people, entrepreneurs and professionals in the US. Where does Donna live? Tell us a little bit more about Donna herself.
I live in the Philippines, and I work as a graphic designer. Um, that is my main forte, editing graphic. That's what I love doing the most. But I am also helping editing videos, reels, and I also help in managing email campaigns. And I also do like help some administrative task. But like my main forte is really is graphic designer, and that's where I might say like that I don't know if I'm professional at that, but I'm doing that for the past 4 years. So
Yeah,
yeah.
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 We love that you said yes to supporting and helping us when knowing that you had edited videos, but had never, my understanding, if I remember correct, edited podcast or did podcasting. And so we are just so grateful that you said yes to expanding and learning more for yourself and to support and help us. So we truly appreciate and have really enjoyed seeing you. I have enjoyed seeing you grow as a person. And you could say scared, nervous, but the confidence that I have seen shift in you from 6 months ago has been tremendous. Tremendous. Yeah.
I'm very grateful to you also for hiring me to be your social media manager. Actually, my life changed when I started working with you. I've learned a lot. And also in my personal growth, I became more understanding and patient with people. I became more aware of my own emotions and my own grief. I learned how to sit with my feelings instead of ignoring them. This
Good.
work didn't just teach me skills, it changed how I see life. And I'm very grateful for like having me as your social media manager and your
Yeah.
podcast editor. So I
Yeah.
really thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on that learning train that we're on right now, from behind the scenes, share one message with our listeners. What would it be if you could, take everything you've learned from behind the scenes and just share one message with the listeners?
That grief is not something to be afraid of. It's a sign that you loved, you hoped, you cared, and something mattered to you. And if you're going through it right now, just know you're not alone and your story matters. Like Female Voices is very open to all your stories, and we're here to listen openly and understand what you're going through. And I really hope that people will discover female voices because there's so much learnings in every episode. They are not just
Mhm.
like stories. It's every stories really carry so much emotions, and you can see how strong woman is. So
Mhm.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
What does healing look like for you now after witnessing so many different journeys?
healing for me now is not forgetting or moving on completely because you can never forget someone you loved, you cared for, right? It's about learning how to carry both love and loss at the same time. It's allowing yourself to feel, to grow, and to slowly find peace in your own way. Healing is not perfect, but it's possible, especially if you have support and you have your family, your friends that is supporting you through it
Mhm.
all. Healing is possible.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So I want to just kind of open this up. If anyone, before we conclude, what other questions or what other things, Donna, has there been anything that has popped in your head like, oh gosh, I remember this episode, or definitely want to share this? Anything else that from the last 6 months that has kind of stuck with you that you'd like to share that you haven't shared already, or maybe just even reiterating what you've already shared? Any
Oh,
thoughts?
yeah. Actually, the only episode that comes to my mind right now is the episode 43 and the episode 65 because that really like connected to me. It
Mhm.
really impacted me in a way that I realized my own grief through that episode, and I'm really grateful that I was able to listen their stories
Mhm.
because it really inspires me, and I hope people would watch those episodes because it might help them realize something. It might give them idea that maybe they are carrying grief that they don't know yet. So
Mm,
that's the episode that really impacted me.
that's awesome.
Those
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Any other questions that has come to your mind, Wayna, that you'd like to share or comments or
No,
I
only
kind of touted on Donna there a lot. I think I spoke for both of us, but I'm like, oh, I should maybe let Wayna speak for herself.
not at all. I appreciate that, and if you know me, I am not a morning person. I am a night owl. So my peak time is 11 p.m.
So the listeners know when we do things like this with Donna, we really have to somebody either has to stay up late or somebody has to get up early. Yeah, guess what happened today? Somebody had to get up
Yeah,
early. I
I
I
got back
am
to back until 10 o'clock. So it's gonna be a
yeah,
long day.
yeah.
I'm not
But it's worth it. just to
Yeah.
hear about
Yeah.
how the podcast has changed Donna's life and things that she has heard. So I would not have wanted to miss that. Her insights and how it's shaped, her life going forward. So
Yeah.
that is why we do this work. Those are things that, Teresa and I both enjoy hearing how this podcast has impacted people, because I think those are singing graces for both of us that warms both of our hearts.
Yeah.
Just knowing the work that we both are so passionate about is really landing, and it's landing in such an impactful way.
Yeah.
So thank you
Yeah.
so much, Donna.
Yeah.
Thank you,
We
ma'am. Thank you so
with
much for
you.
inspiring other people, giving hope, and making the letting them know that they can heal in every situations they are in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Donna makes everyone ugly cry. So she made the video for touching my baby boy's birthday. And everybody's like, "You got me ugly crying in the morning. Oh my god, on my way to work." So Donna, your work definitely lands the same way. So I
Thank
just
you, ma'am.
Yeah.
sure that you know that. Even just, your creativity, the things that you find to connect the dots for people. My family directly, just, the videos that you created for our life events just has everybody just like, she's so amazing. Especially the one with Poppy looking for his stuff on the floor.
Oh my gosh.
I really hope some scenes like that for the future
I
because
wanted
that's really
to
funny.
laugh. And it's, things that everyone can relate to. And that's where I think you make that connection for us with our messages. You make it relatable, you make it laughable, you make us cry. It's all the things. And that's how we learn. We learn and we grow and we heal through all of those moments. So I just want you to know that your work is just as impactful for our listeners, for people that you connect with online, the grace and the empathy and the sensitivity that you have around the messages, the comments. It's just very thoughtful and very intentional. And so me and Teresa both are just so thankful that you have that kind of spirit, of wanting to learn, wanting to grow, but also wanting others to feel seen and supported, because we
Yeah.
definitely feel seen and supported.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank you for
Yeah.
saying that. That really makes my heart happy and contented
Mhm.
with what I'm doing right now. Thank you.
Yeah. This has really, been a wonderful conversation. Just a gentle reminder that healing doesn't only come from speaking, it also comes from listening and
Yes,
from
yes.
witnessing. And we've witnessed that this morning, really, from allowing someone's story to touch something in you without needing to fix it, is super important. What I love about today's conversation is this perspective that even being near grief, holding space for it, hearing it, honoring it, can change us in quiet and meaningful ways. And maybe that's something we don't talk about enough, for sure. I would love to have more people on that listen to us on a regular basis and get
Yeah.
their feedback as well, because this has been wonderful for sure.
Yes, it has. To our listeners, you don't have to have the perfect words. You don't have to understand everything. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can offer is your presence, your attention, and your willingness to truly listen. And Donna, thank you for stepping forward, for sharing your voice, and for allowing us to see the impact of this work from a different lens. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for having me.